For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
On the evening of October 27, 2004, 29-year-old Felix Chen left his hotel room in Tokyo, Japan. He never returned. Despite an extensive investigation by the Tokyo Metropolitan Police, the brilliant Silicon Valley engineer vanished without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a room untouched. For 17 years, his family lived with agonizing uncertainty, clinging to the hope that one day they would learn the truth about his disappearance. Then, in the spring of 2021, a discovery was made in a Tokyo pawn shop. Felix's encrypted laptop, containing files that hinted at a dark secret lurking beneath the surface of the Global Technology Summit. This is the complete investigation into what happened to Felix Chen. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from, and if you enjoy this content, consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's continue. The Tokyo International Forum buzzed with the frenetic energy of innovation. The 2004 Global Technology Summit, a nexus for the world's leading minds in computing, was in full swing. Among the attendees was Felix Chen, a 29-year-old software engineer from Silicon Valley. Brilliant and driven, Felix specialized in cybersecurity, developing cutting-edge encryption technologies for financial institutions. He presented his work on a novel encryption algorithm, garnering attention from industry giants and fellow engineers alike. The future seemed to hold limitless possibilities for the young innovator, but the vibrant backdrop of the summit would soon become the setting of a chilling mystery. Felix Chen was a rising star in the Silicon Valley tech scene. Graduating top of his class at MIT, he quickly made a name for himself with his groundbreaking work in cryptography. His passion for computer science stemmed from a childhood fascination with puzzles and code breaking. Colleagues described him as meticulous, dedicated, and possessing an almost preternatural ability to anticipate vulnerabilities in systems. This trip to Tokyo represented a significant step in his career, a chance to share his research on a global platform and forge connections with industry leaders. He'd spoken to his sister, Dr. Jennifer Chen, just the day before, excitedly describing the conference and the positive reception to his presentation. The night of October 27, 2004, began like any other at the conference. Felix attended a late-night networking session, engaging in animated discussions about the future of cybersecurity. Security footage from the hotel lobby shows him returning to his room on the 25th floor at approximately 11 p.m. He appears calm and unaccompanied. This is the last confirmed sighting of Felix Chen. He never checked out of the hotel. He never boarded his flight back to San Francisco. He simply vanished. The initial response from hotel security was one of bewilderment. A cursory search of his room revealed nothing amiss. His personal belongings, including his passport, wallet, and conference materials, remained untouched. There were no signs of forced entry or struggle. The only item missing was his laptop, a seemingly insignificant detail at the time. Detective Akira Yamamoto of the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department was assigned to the case. The perplexing circumstances immediately presented a challenge. The disappearance of Mr. Chen was unlike anything I had encountered before, Detective Yamamoto would later recall. There was no clear motive, no witnesses, no indication of where he might have gone. Thousands of miles away in California, Dr. Jennifer Chen received the devastating news. The initial shock quickly gave way to a desperate need for answers. Felix was not the type of person to just disappear, she explained. He was responsible, meticulous. He would have contacted me, let me know if his plans changed. Jennifer, a forensic computer analyst herself, immediately sensed something was wrong. Her brother's meticulous nature extended to his digital life. He was always careful, always aware of the potential risks. His disappearance without a trace, especially from a secure hotel room, felt deeply unsettling. She knew in her heart that something terrible had happened. Detective Yamamoto and his team began a thorough examination of Felix Chen's hotel room. Every inch of the space was meticulously searched for clues. Forensic specialists dusted for fingerprints, analyzed hair fibers, and examined the bathroom for any signs of a struggle. The room, however, yielded little in the way of tangible evidence. It was as if Felix had simply evaporated into thin air. Interviews with hotel staff provided no additional insights. No one recalled seeing anything unusual or suspicious on the night of Felix's disappearance. The hotel's security footage was reviewed repeatedly, but it offered no further clues beyond Felix's solitary return to his room. Investigators then turned their attention to the attendees of the Global Technology Summit. Hundreds of individuals from around the world had converged on Tokyo for the event. The task of interviewing each attendee, many of whom had already returned to their respective countries, proved daunting. Language barriers and the complexities of international cooperation further hampered the investigation. Initial inquiries focused on individuals who had interacted with Felix during the conference. Colleagues, fellow presenters, and even casual acquaintances were questioned. While these interviews provided a clearer picture of Felix's activities leading up to his disappearance, they shed no light on his ultimate fate. Several theories were considered during the early stages of the investigation. One possibility was that Felix had chosen to disappear voluntarily. However, this theory seemed unlikely given his close relationship with his family and his promising career prospects. There was no indication of any personal or professional problems that might have led him to abandon his life. Foul play was another possibility, though the lack of evidence of a struggle in his hotel room made this theory difficult to substantiate. The possibility of misadventure was also explored. Could Felix have become disoriented and lost in the unfamiliar city? Could he have been the victim of a random act of violence? These questions remained unanswered. The challenges faced by the investigators were significant. The language barrier presented a constant obstacle, requiring the use of translators and interpreters. Securing cooperation from international authorities proved time-consuming and complex. Furthermore, the nascent field of digital forensics offered limited assistance in 2004. The absence of Felix's laptop meant that investigators had no access to his digital communications, his research data, or any other information that might have provided clues to his whereabouts. As months turned into a year, the initial flurry of activity surrounding the case began to subside. Leads dried up, and the investigation gradually lost momentum. The lack of progress was frustrating for Detective Yamamoto and his team. They had exhausted all available avenues of inquiry, yet the mystery of Felix Chen's disappearance remained unsolved. For Dr. Jennifer Chen, the dwindling hope was unbearable. She continued to press the authorities for answers, traveling to Tokyo multiple times to meet with investigators and keep her brother's case alive. She refused to believe that he had simply vanished without a trace. She knew in her heart that the truth was out there, waiting to be discovered. Years passed, blurring the sharp edges of the initial investigation into Felix Chen's disappearance. The bustling energy of the 2004 Global Technology Summit faded into a distant memory, replaced by the relentless march of time. The case, once a headline-grabbing mystery, gradually receded from public consciousness. News reports became less frequent, eventually dwindling to occasional anniversary pieces, somber reminders of an unsolved puzzle. The world moved on, but for Dr. Jennifer Chen, time stood still. The unanswered questions surrounding her brother's vanishing haunted her, a constant ache in her heart. She refused to let the world forget Felix. Jennifer's pursuit of answers became a personal crusade. She meticulously compiled every scrap of information related to her brother's disappearance. Police reports, witness statements, news articles, anything that might offer a glimmer of hope. She learned Japanese, driven by the need to communicate directly with investigators and navigate the complexities of the Japanese legal system. She maintained regular contact with Detective Yamamoto, urging him to keep the case open, to pursue any new leads that might emerge. She even launched her own independent investigation, leveraging her expertise in computer forensics to analyze the limited digital evidence available from 2004. The internet became her primary tool, a vast digital repository of information. She scoured online forums, message boards, and social media groups, searching for anyone who might have known Felix or had information about the 2004 conference. She contacted cybersecurity experts, private investigators, and even journalists, hoping to uncover a new angle, a fresh perspective on the case. Her efforts, however, yielded little in the way of concrete results. The trail had gone cold. For Detective Yamamoto, the case of Felix Chen remained a nagging reminder of an unfinished task. He had dedicated countless hours to the investigation, poring over every detail, chasing down every lead. The lack of closure weighed heavily on him. Over the years, he revisited the case file periodically, hoping that new technology or a fresh perspective might provide the breakthrough he so desperately sought. The passage of time, however, had only deepened the mystery. Witnesses, memories had faded, evidence had deteriorated, and the chances of finding answers seemed to diminish with each passing year. Archival news footage from the period reflects the fading public interest in the case. Initial reports, filled with speculation and urgency, gradually gave way to more subdued coverage, focusing on the family's ongoing plea for information. Interviews with experts highlighted the challenges of solving international missing person cases, particularly those involving limited evidence and complex jurisdictional issues. The story of Felix Chen, once a symbol of technological promise, became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities that exist even in the most technologically advanced societies. The emotional toll on Felix's family was immense. The years of uncertainty, the unanswered questions, and the lack of closure created a void in their lives. Birthdays and holidays were marked by a bittersweet mixture of remembrance and grief. The hope of finding Felix alive gradually gave way to a desperate need for answers, for any information that might bring a sense of peace and resolution. Dr. Jennifer Chen, however, never gave up hope. Driven by her unwavering love for her brother and her belief that justice would eventually prevail, she continued her tireless pursuit of the truth, determined to uncover the secrets that lay buried beneath the surface of the 2004 Tokyo Tech Conference. She clung to the belief that somewhere, somehow, a clue remained, waiting to be discovered, a signal hidden in the noise of time. 17 years after Felix Chen vanished without a trace, a seemingly insignificant event in a bustling Tokyo pawn shop would reignite the dormant investigation. A young employee, sorting through a recent influx of electronics, stumbled upon a dusty, nondescript laptop. Its battery was long dead, its casing scratched and worn, bearing the silent scars of time and neglect. The pawn shop owner, recognizing the potential value of even outdated technology, placed the laptop on a shelf, another forgotten piece of inventory awaiting a second life. It would remain there, gathering dust, until a routine police audit of pawned electronics brought it to the attention of authorities. A serial number etched on the underside of the device matched the one registered to Felix Chen, the missing software engineer from Silicon Valley. The discovery sent ripples of shock and disbelief through the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department. Could this be the missing piece of the puzzle, the key to unlocking the mystery of Felix Chen's disappearance? The laptop was immediately transferred to the Cybercrime Division, where it landed in the hands of Kenji Sato, a leading expert in cryptocurrency fraud. Sato, a meticulous and methodical investigator, recognized the significance of the find. The laptop, if it could be accessed, held the potential to reveal a wealth of information about Felix Chen's activities in the days leading up to his disappearance. However, accessing the data proved to be a formidable challenge. Felix, a renowned expert in encryption, had protected his laptop with a complex, multi-layered security system. Breaking through these digital defenses required not only technical expertise, but also a deep understanding of Felix Chen's mind, his methods, and his potential motivations. Sato began the painstaking process of decrypting the laptop's hard drive. He employed a combination of brute force techniques, sophisticated decryption software, and his own intimate knowledge of encryption algorithms. Days turned into weeks as Sato worked tirelessly, chipping away at the digital fortress protecting Felix's data. He meticulously documented each step of the process, preserving the chain of custody and ensuring the integrity of the evidence. The pressure to succeed was immense. The world was watching, waiting for answers. The family of Felix Chen, after years of agonizing uncertainty, held onto a fragile thread of hope that this discovery might finally bring them closure. The first layer of encryption fell, revealing a trove of seemingly innocuous files. Research papers, code snippets, personal correspondence. Nothing that immediately suggested foul play or provided clues to Felix's disappearance. But Sato, with his keen eye for detail, noticed something unusual. Hidden within a seemingly ordinary folder containing conference materials, he discovered a series of encrypted files with cryptic file names. These files, unlike the others, were protected by an even more sophisticated level of encryption, suggesting that they contained information of significant importance. Sato's intuition told him that these hidden files held the key to unlocking the mystery. As Sato delved deeper into the encrypted files, a pattern began to emerge. The data, once decrypted, revealed a series of complex financial transactions, involving large sums of cryptocurrency being transferred between anonymous accounts. Sato, with his expertise in cryptocurrency fraud, recognized the hallmarks of a sophisticated money laundering operation. He began to piece together the fragments of information, tracing the flow of funds, identifying the key players, and uncovering the intricate web of deceit. His analysis led him to a shocking realization. The cryptocurrency transactions were linked to Hiroshi Tanaka, the organizer of the 2004 Global Technology Summit. Tanaka, now a respected figure in the tech industry, had used the conference as a cover for a massive cryptocurrency theft scheme. He had developed a sophisticated system for stealing wallet information from attendees' devices, exploiting the very technology that the conference was designed to celebrate. And Felix Chen, with his expertise in cybersecurity, had stumbled upon Tanaka's illicit activities. The unearthing of Felix Chen's laptop breathed new life into a case long considered cold. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department, galvanized by this unexpected development, reopened the investigation with renewed vigor. Detective Yamamoto, now a seasoned veteran with decades of experience, was brought back to lead the charge. The years had etched lines of weariness on his face, but his eyes still held the same determined glint, the unwavering commitment to justice that had defined his career. He knew this was likely his last chance to solve the mystery that had haunted him for so long. Yamamoto's first task was to assemble a team of experts. He reached out to Kenji Sato, the cryptocurrency fraud specialist who had unearthed the incriminating data from Felix's laptop. Sato's expertise in digital forensics and his understanding of the complex world of cryptocurrency would be crucial to the investigation. Together, they began to piece together the puzzle, meticulously analyzing the data from Felix's laptop, cross-referencing it with financial records, and building a case against Hiroshi Tanaka. The focus of the investigation shifted from a missing person case to a complex financial crime, a web of deceit spanning nearly 2 decades. Hiroshi Tanaka, in the intervening years, had become a prominent figure in the Japanese tech industry. He had founded a successful software company, secured lucrative government contracts, and cultivated a reputation as a visionary entrepreneur. His public persona was that of a brilliant innovator, a champion of technological progress. Beneath this carefully constructed facade, however, lay a darker truth. The investigation into Tanaka's activities revealed a pattern of suspicious financial transactions, shell corporations registered in offshore tax havens, and unexplained wealth accumulated over the years. The pieces of the puzzle were beginning to fall into place. Surveillance teams were deployed to monitor Tanaka's movements, his communications, and his interactions. Investigators discreetly interviewed our employees, business associates, and anyone who had crossed paths with Tanaka over the years. Background checks revealed a potential link to organized crime, specifically the Yakuza, a notorious Japanese criminal syndicate. The connection, though tenuous at first, provided a possible motive for Felix Chen's disappearance. Had Tanaka, fearing exposure, silenced the young engineer with the help of his criminal associates? The investigation also delved into the specifics of the 2004 Global Technology Summit. Investigators revisited the conference venue, the hotel where Felix had stayed, and the surrounding areas. They re-interviewed witnesses, reviewed old security footage, and searched for any overlooked clues. The passage of time had made this task more challenging, but the discovery of Felix's laptop provided a renewed sense of purpose, a fresh perspective on the events of that fateful night. The conference, once a symbol of innovation and progress, now appeared to be a carefully orchestrated stage for Tanaka's criminal enterprise. Dr. Jennifer Chen, upon learning of the new developments, felt a surge of both hope and trepidation. The discovery of her brother's laptop and the subsequent investigation into Hiroshi Tanaka offered the possibility of finally getting answers, of bringing those responsible for Felix's disappearance to justice. However, the prospect of confronting the truth after so many years was also daunting. She had spent nearly 2 decades living with the uncertainty, the unanswered questions, and the gnawing sense of injustice. The reopening of the investigation forced her to confront the pain of her loss anew, to relive the trauma of her brother's disappearance. She resolved to be actively involved in the investigation, working closely with Detective Yamamoto and Kenji Sato, determined to see justice served for Felix. She knew that this was not just about finding answers for herself and her family. It was about exposing the truth, holding those responsible accountable, and ensuring that such a tragedy would never happen again. The final layer of encryption on Felix Chen's laptop proved to be the most complex, a digital fortress designed to protect its secrets at all costs. Kenji Sato, working day and night, employed every tool at his disposal, pushing the limits of his expertise. He collaborated with other cryptography experts, sharing ideas and strategies, pooling their collective knowledge to crack the code. Finally, after weeks of relentless effort, the last barrier crumbled. The decrypted files revealed the damning evidence they had been searching for, concrete proof of Hiroshi Tanaka's elaborate cryptocurrency theft scheme. The files contained detailed records of Tanaka's illicit activities. Spreadsheets meticulously documented the stolen cryptocurrency, listing wallet addresses, transaction dates, and amounts. Emails revealed communication between Tanaka and his accomplices, discussing the technical details of the scheme, the distribution of the stolen funds, and their plans to expand their operation. The conference, it turned out, was not just a cover. It was the very mechanism through which Tanaka executed his plan. He had developed a sophisticated system for surreptitiously accessing attendees' devices, exploiting vulnerabilities in conference Wi-Fi and software to steal their cryptocurrency wallet information. The sheer scale of the theft was staggering. Tanaka had amassed over $50 million in stolen cryptocurrency, a fortune built on the backs of unsuspecting victims. Among the decrypted files, Sato discovered a series of encrypted messages between Tanaka and known Yakuza associates. These messages, chilling in their brevity, discussed Felix Chen. They referred to him by code name, the problem, and outlined plans to neutralize him. The messages provided a clear link between Tanaka and organized crime, confirming the investigators' suspicions that Felix had been murdered to protect Tanaka's criminal enterprise. The messages also contained cryptic references to a location, a construction site on the outskirts of Tokyo. This information, though vague, provided a potential starting point for the search for Felix's remains. Armed with this irrefutable evidence, Detective Yamamoto secured an arrest warrant for Hiroshi Tanaka. The arrest, carried out swiftly and discreetly, sent shockwaves through the Japanese tech industry. Tanaka, the respected entrepreneur, the visionary leader, was exposed as a ruthless criminal, a master manipulator who had used his position of power to orchestrate a massive fraud. The media descended upon the story, eager to dissect the details of the case, to understand how such a prominent figure could have perpetrated such a brazen crime. During his interrogation, Tanaka initially maintained his innocence, denying any involvement in Felix Chen's disappearance or the cryptocurrency theft. However, confronted with the overwhelming evidence from Felix's laptop, the communication records with his Yakuza associates, and the mounting pressure from investigators, Tanaka's carefully constructed facade began to crumble. He finally confessed, recounting the events that led to Felix's murder. Tanaka explained how Felix, during his research at the conference, had stumbled upon anomalies in the network traffic, unusual patterns that suggested something nefarious was afoot. Felix, with his expertise in cybersecurity, quickly realized that someone was using the conference as a front to steal cryptocurrency. He had traced the activity back to Tanaka and confronted him, threatening to expose the scheme to the authorities. Tanaka, fearing the consequences of exposure, panicked. He contacted his Yakuza associates, who offered a brutal solution: eliminate the threat. On the night of October 27, 2004, Tanaka lured Felix out of his hotel room under the guise of a late-night meeting to discuss a potential collaboration. He led Felix to a secluded area of the conference venue, where his Yakuza associates were waiting. Felix was overpowered, subdued, and taken to the construction site on the outskirts of Tokyo, the location referenced in the encrypted messages. There he was murdered, his body buried beneath the foundation of the building that was under construction, a grim secret hidden beneath layers of concrete and steel. Tanaka's confession, chilling in its detail, brought a sense of grim satisfaction to the investigators. They had finally uncovered the truth, piecing together the fragments of a puzzle that had remained unsolved for nearly 2 decades. The confession, however, also brought a profound sense of sadness, a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition and greed. The arrest of Hiroshi Tanaka sent shockwaves through the global tech community. News outlets around the world covered the story, highlighting the stunning downfall of the once celebrated entrepreneur. The details of his elaborate cryptocurrency theft scheme, his connections to organized crime, and his orchestration of Felix Chen's murder captivated the public. The case became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the potential for corruption even within the seemingly pristine world of technological innovation. The arrest also brought a renewed focus on cybersecurity, prompting calls for greater vigilance and stronger safeguards against digital theft. Following Tanaka's confession, the Tokyo Metropolitan Police launched a search for Felix Chen's remains. Using the information provided by Tanaka, investigators focused their efforts on the construction site on the outskirts of Tokyo. The site, now a nondescript office building, held a grim secret beneath its foundations. After days of painstaking excavation, using ground-penetrating radar and heavy machinery, they unearthed a shallow grave. Forensic analysis confirmed the remains were those of Felix Chen, bringing a somber end to the long search. The discovery, while heartbreaking, provided a measure of closure for his family, finally allowing them to lay him to rest after 18 years of agonizing uncertainty. The trial of Hiroshi Tanaka and his Yakuza associates was a media spectacle. The courtroom was packed with journalists, legal experts, and members of the public, all eager to witness the unfolding drama. The prosecution presented a mountain of evidence, including the decrypted data from Felix's laptop, the incriminating communication records, and Tanaka's own confession. The defense argued that Tanaka had been coerced by the Yakuza, portraying him as a victim of circumstance rather than a mastermind of the scheme. The jury, however, was unconvinced. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, they found Tanaka guilty on all counts: conspiracy to commit fraud, money laundering, and murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment, a fitting punishment for his crimes. His Yakuza associates also received lengthy prison sentences for their roles in Felix's murder and the cryptocurrency theft scheme. The impact of Tanaka's crimes extended far beyond the immediate victims. The theft of millions of dollars in cryptocurrency had a ripple effect throughout the digital finance world, eroding trust in the nascent technology and prompting calls for increased regulation. The case also highlighted the vulnerabilities of online security, exposing the ease with which sophisticated criminals could exploit weaknesses in systems and steal vast sums of money. The fallout from the scandal led to increased investment in cybersecurity, prompting companies and individuals to adopt stronger security measures to protect their digital assets. For the families of the victims, the resolution of the case brought a complex mix of emotions. While the conviction of Tanaka and his associates provided a sense of justice, it could not erase the pain of their loss, the years of uncertainty, and the lingering trauma of the ordeal. The families filed civil lawsuits against Tanaka and his company, seeking compensation for their financial losses and the emotional distress they had endured. The legal battles continued for years, adding another layer of complexity to the already arduous process of healing and moving forward. Dr. Jennifer Chen, though relieved by the outcome of the trial, remained deeply affected by her brother's murder. The years of relentless pursuit of justice had taken a toll, both emotionally and physically. She established the Felix Chen Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting cybersecurity awareness and supporting victims of cybercrime. The foundation became her life's work, a testament to her brother's legacy and her unwavering commitment to ensuring that no one else would suffer the same fate. In a public statement following the sentencing, she spoke of the importance of perseverance in the pursuit of justice, the need to hold those in power accountable, and the enduring power of hope in the face of unimaginable loss. The case of Felix Chen serves as a chilling reminder of the dark side of technological innovation. It highlights the dangers of unchecked ambition, the allure of easy money, and the devastating consequences of greed. It also underscores the importance of vigilance, the need for robust cybersecurity measures, and the crucial role of law enforcement in combating cybercrime. The story of Felix Chen is a tragedy, a cautionary tale, but it is also a testament to the enduring power of human resilience, the unwavering pursuit of justice, and the enduring strength of family bonds in the face of unimaginable loss. The long shadow cast by Hiroshi Tanaka's crimes continues to influence the cybersecurity landscape, serving as a constant reminder of the ever-present threat of digital theft and the importance of protecting our increasingly interconnected world.